How you doing today, Jonathan?
Wait, hey, man.
How's it going, bud?
I'm super great and getting better.
Every day, bigger, better, better.
I want to start off by saying welcome. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Assuming I'm going to post this in the morning every Saturday, if we do it every Friday. So you know what to pay attention to and what to look forward to in your week. If you can't watch it Saturday, you can always just save it for your drive to work on Monday. How's that sound?
I like it.
So, the owner and well, we got the CEO of Copley General Contracting here. We're in St. Pete, God's country,
Hmm.
Florida. You should probably move here. We're going to discuss some things. So we're going to do some market updates. We're going to talk about the general contracting space a little bit. We're going to get Chad's personal thoughts on some things. And then we have a Florida man to discuss, as we're going to do at the end of each episode. This one's really good. You don't want to miss that. Apparently, I'll just give you a little spoiler. Dark Knight thwarts, that is Batman, thwarts a robbery attempt. This is a real thing.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Yeah.
Good. That was a good lead. That was good. I'm gonna have to stay till the end.
And on November 3rd, Florida votes on ending property tax, although local governments can still enforce some property taxes. We'll have to look into that a little bit more before we discuss it. But I'm here for that if that goes down. So we'll go ahead and start right off. What kind of projects are we working on right now, Chad?
We got a pretty wide variety still, Jonathan. Thanks for asking, though. Currently, we have a few that are in the pipe, some bigger ones. We're looking at a few waterfront rebuilds. We still have actually homes that are making the decision to rebuild or tear down and rebuild. Repair or rebuild post the storm, which was October 24. Um, Aline and Milton. So I actually just got a call the other day. We'll be doing a follow up walkthrough next week. And they finally came to the decision to repair their home rather than rebuild, which was a long drawn out process, a lot of insurance, hubbub involved. But, excuse me. Um,
Wrong pipe.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So yeah, we're actually with our team and everything we're able to do now. We're able to take on some of these bigger projects. So we have a couple new construction jobs that are in the pipe, which are Shore Acres, Old Northeast. Just got off a really positive phone call with someone who bought a substantially damaged house. It's directly next door to them, and in a defense to building a huge, just concrete block looking new modern house, which is great. That fits the buyer, fits the builder. But they want to do something that's going to keep it a little more true to the neighborhood, which is great to hear. So big front porch, metal roof, kind of cedar shake siding, along with some composite or concrete lap siding on the side. So just a traditional feel, a traditional look to the area, but it's still going to take up a good footprint of the property. So it'll be sizable, around 3,000 square feet. And yeah, I had a great first call with them. Was introduced to them by a new designer who is slowly but surely becoming more comfortable with working with on some of her bigger jobs. And she's very well, networked in the area, Old Northeast, and that's kind of where we started. We were grassroots in Old Northeast in 2017, and um, have stayed pretty consistent to that demographic, that area. So all sorts of new stuff. Another big one, Ronald McDonald House.
Hmm.
They're coming up. We've already started phase one, and looks like maybe by this time next month we'll be kicking off with their bathroom remodel at 3 different locations. And when I say bathroom remodel, I mean roughly, I think, 68 bathrooms. So that's going to be a big one. Ronald McDonald House is a great organization. They've been huge supporters, and we've been advocates for them too. Starting with small deck jobs that we did for them back in the day, and now we're moving into some pretty substantial work. So all over the place, doing great.
You can't have too many bathrooms. Ronald McDonald's house is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
Um, he's got 68 bathrooms in his house, so it's really cool. From what I understand, it's like, what do? They house people so they can be closer to someone who's in the hospital, the family members of people who are in hospitals, or
Yep. I can't directly quote their mission statement, but essentially, there are families that are in need of specific procedures, specific operations, and all youth based, all for children. And the families to be able to accommodate living near the hospital that specializes in that operation or procedure, they need housing. So Ronald McDonald House has done for years has done a great job of putting facilities on hospital campuses or nearby. And in St. Pete, there happen to be two. One is a rehabbed historic building, which is awesome, super fun place to work on. The other one is on the campus right downtown, and then there's another one in Davis Island. So they've done a pretty good job of kind of designing facilities to create a comfortable environment for the family during a time that they're going through, something extremely hard and sometimes traumatic to kind of have a landing place. And it's an honor to work for them. I mean, they're everybody on the team there is completely, committed to their mission. So it's a group effort, but they're doing a good job. So I'm honored to be chosen to help out with some of the nuts and bolts of what they're doing because it's one thing to provide a place for someone to go, but lights need to turn on, water needs to run, basic thing that contractors do and offer.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going out of style.
No, no time soon.
Yeah, regardless of what AI can do, it can't go to the store, pick up materials, and
No,
take it to the house and figure out where it goes.
no, not
Probably
yet.
went within our lifetimes too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, but also I didn't comment on. I mean, this homeowner, they want to have their home built and blend into the community there where they're making it, rather than just building some monstrosity that's like a McMansion that's completely out of place, which is exactly what I would do, by the way. But it's very kind of them
Yeah.
to not go that route, to
Mm-hmm.
kind of, I don't know, not be an eyesore for the neighborhood that's really caring about people.
Yeah. It's an Old Northeast. It's kind of coined historic Old Northeast for a reason. All dating pre 1930. They're all around the
Oh,
early 1920s that the homes were built. So
are
you
they
know
required to do that then?
No, there's no requirement. It's
Oh,
not a registered historic. It is a title for the neighborhood. Historic. I mean, they're 100-year-old homes. Most of them are all stick built. They were born to have house fans that no AC was existent back then. So you open all the windows and turn on a house fan in the attic, and it just is natural air. That was their AC. Since then, it's become a really desirable place. So a lot of the repairs and reconstruction and modifications to these homes. Um, get to a point cost wise where it's like, do we tear it down and rebuild it? And then if so, do we redesign it? Do we kind of keep it eclectic to the neighborhood, and those styles of construction kind of sometimes step outside of the boundaries of efficient building. I mean,
mm,
you can build a big box and fit a lot of rooms in it and stucco the outside, put a cold paint job, have some decent landscaping, and it looks nice, but it's right next to a 120-year-old house that has four generations of grandpas working on the front porch type thing. Original single pane wood hung windows. I mean, there's just so much that you can't really mimic with a lot of the new construction styles. So it
mm,
takes someone using a creative design aspect, which Leslie's great. Leslie Gross, she's a local designer. She really incorporates a lot of what's in that surrounding area, and then helps get basically what that customer is asking for out of the house, blended in with the finished design look. So yeah, it's really exciting and rewarding to be asked to kind of preserve the burg, if you will.
yeah, what's going on with the housing market? Speaking of housing, people telling me that houses are down now and it's going to crash and stuff. And I mean, I'm not going to ask you to make predictions to the future, but just the current state, I haven't experienced this housing downturn that people are talking about. I haven't seen any good buying opportunities.
Yeah. um I mean, I can comment on that in like a kind of a local bubble. We're in St. Pete.
Yeah.
Compared to Florida, we're a little bit of an outlier.
Mm,
Compared to like a nationwide, survey of the housing market, we're even more of an outlier. St. Pete offers just a completely unique demographic of people and just landscape in general. I mean, we're a little bit of our own unique system. So when you ask about housing market here, I would say one of the biggest factors recently is some of our most high-end luxury neighborhoods were borderline demolished by two hurricanes back to back in
mm,
24. That took a hit on the buying and selling market quite a bit. Paired with also a little bit of a decrease in the selling ability. I mean, it's been a seller's market, across the board nationwide for God, what seems like probably the last 10 years or so. So during that time, house flipping was actually a really valuable thing. Now, not so much. You can't really get the same bang for your buck. Buy a house for 200, put 50 into it and sell it for 400. I mean, that was what people were doing, only 2, 3 years ago. So St. Pete is still a desirable area outside of, a lot of the surrounding areas. So, I mean, we've kind of held a little bit of a standard, and a desire, for people to live here through what seems like a little bit of a nationwide down curve. Um, I mean, part of it due probably to ability, a lot of the people moving here, their ability to work remotely. A lot of still, retiree draw to Florida, which, would kind of be a segue into the tax bill Florida's talking about, cutting up property tax. If you own your home and that the impact of that property tax, comes into play, that's a big swing. So I think a lot of the benefits are going to be people that have paid off their house that have a very low standing balance on their mortgage, and are close to that. Once they're paid off, I mean, they own their house outright. It's not a continuous tax payment, mortgage payment almost. You know what I mean, on their property. So there are quite a decent amount of people here that do fall in that category. So I think the drive to do that makes Florida even more appealing. I know that over the last 5 years or 6 years or so, there's been a few things. COVID made Florida very appealing. During that time, there were people moving here in droves from
Right.
all sorts of places, California, New York, even Midwest, for good reason. Quality of life here is, I think, better in general.
Mm,
And given the perks of comparing it to current situations that you're in different states and different regions of the country, Florida stands out. So to wrap that all up, I'd say, there's been a little bit of a downtick. I think it's a little bit of an acute effect from the hurricanes, because a lot of these transitional areas are some of the more higher end luxury neighborhoods. And that's where a lot of the development and redevelopment has been happening. Central St. Pete, you get a lot of Florida cracker homes. They're 1 story block homes with a 1 car garage, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 3 bedroom, 2 bath. Um, those were kind of the sought out goal for people that wanted to flip homes, and there's a little bit less of that aspect going on. So I hope that kind of sums it up. That was a pretty long-winded answer, but
yeah. Well, why would somebody buy? This is always kind of perplexed people like me who grew up in the Northeast area. It's like, why would someone buy a house in Florida? They're just gonna get destroyed by a hurricane. Is this just a myth or?
yeah. I mean, it's kind of a brutal reality, but it's a price of paradise type situation. That's how I
Yeah.
explain it to people. I mean, you want to live in shore acres, you want to live on the water, on the coast. I mean, when it's good, and it's real good. Um, when we get a hurricane barreling down on us, it's like you need to be prepared. You need to do what you need to do.
Mm,
The worst flooded 100 years put at most 4 or 5 feet of water in someone's house. If I was staring down that barrel, I would have been prepared to put things up 6 feet above the ground. Have things have it
yeah.
ready for attic storage. I think a direct hit from a hurricane and the sheer just like wind force, that's a little bit of a different story. You're talking about roofs tearing off and windows blowing out. The flood that happened and the rising water from a high tide and a hurricane, that combination, could have been a less severe impact on a lot of the personal lives of people if they would have really taken into consideration what their protocol is, what their what am I trying to say? Their
Having a plan
a
it ready
plan,
and
yeah, an action plan to
yes.
what's going on.
Yeah.
90% of the people I talk to are like, we've never flooded. This is crazy. We
Right.
had a
Yeah.
little bit of water, and
Yeah.
I mean, I carried totes of pictures, childhood pictures, and family belongings, and heirlooms and stuff, still soaked in water out of people's
Right.
houses. I had
Yeah.
a I had a client, we were pulling all their belongings out of the house after the flood subsided, and I saw a box of pictures that were clearly childhood pictures and memorabilia, and I asked her if she wanted us to open some and try to dry it out. And her response was she didn't even want to look at it because she doesn't even want to know the depths of what she lost. And
Yeah.
it's like, you could have picked that tote up and put it on the top shelf of your closet.
Yeah. Would have taken 10 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. So Um,
Planning, mitigation. That's, my degree is Homeland Security, Emergency Management. And so a
right.
large part of emergency management is planning and mitigation. It's just you hear it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Why go through it? And speaking of mitigation, I mean, a lot of the houses I've noticed are built differently here.
Hmm.
They're pretty much all like block with that they put stucco on. I want to say all, you know better than I do, but they're built differently here. And when built properly, it doesn't seem like they have really any issues at all. I mean, even just the dinky house that I live in, it's one story.
Hmm.
Um, it went through couldn't tell you how many hurricanes. I mean, I think it's 50 years old,
Hmm.
and no damage.
Yeah.
It's built on concrete slab.
Hmm.
There's no basement. There really aren't basements here for the most part, as far as I'm aware. I mean,
Yeah. Rare.
yeah, a lot of the houses are built on stilts now. You get a metal roof. I mean, there's just not as much to worry about, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I think the biggest impact was people who their experience with remodel with the construction and in general um, barely ventured over, doing bathroom remodels or, repainting their house, kind of that level of construction to be then thrown into redesigning and rebuilding their entire home. Kitchen cabinets, bathroom tiles, flooring, trim, doors, molding, appliances. I mean, most of the people just were put into a state of shock by this. And then that accompanied with the massive amount of insurance claims that just flooded their own system. Everyone's policies, everyone's adjusters. I mean, it was a war zone out there for a little bit. So even if you were, prepared to redo all that work and to make all those decisions, you were still up against a huge influx of demand for all that same material and everything, within our community and the surrounding few states. So it was just a predisposed kind of assumption that like we're good, we have hurricane windows, we're good, we have a metal roof, and then all of a sudden water started creeping in the front door, and they're like, oh shit, like we're gonna need new floors, we're gonna need new
Mhm.
cabinets, we're gonna need new appliances, and then that accompanied with how an insurance company handles you is can make things pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just built a fence around my property, like 500 linear feet,
yeah,
and told you about it. And the first thing you said was, make sure it's attached to the house. If one screw hits the house, the insurance pays for it. If it's not attached to the house, they don't cover it.
yeah, yeah. I learned a lot from those kind of situations. So and I carry that, I share that, moving forward for indefinitely, all the little tips and tricks and stuff that you learn from this kind of situation, because it's your readiness, for something that happens. I mean, we live on a peninsula. One storm takes a turn in one direction, and we're in the crosshairs of a total natural disaster that can completely destroy your home. But your readiness, your ability to have things in line, I mean, makes it a breeze. I've Most of the advice I've given to people is go sign up for a Holiday Inn, annual package. They'll
Mm,
be the first in line so that you can check out of your place, let the water subside, have a remediation company come in and do their
right.
thing, and just chill out for a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of the families were living with relatives, were looking for hotels. I mean,
Mm,
hotels were booked for a few months, in our
right.
surrounding, 4 or 5 hours. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's too easy. Yeah. If you can mitigate it, do it. And so this brings me into my next question. Why does somebody need a general contractor? I can tell you, 20 minutes ago, I brought you the quote. I was supposed to be here yesterday doing some things, but I
Mhm.
had a AC guy who was supposed to show up at 9. And at 11 a.m., he called me and said, I'm going to be there in about an hour. And he got there eventually and pedaled around for a while and to give me a diagnostic on my system and why my house is like 78 degrees when it's hot outside
Mhm.
and because it should be cooler. And so he gave me this list of services that he wanted to do. It's $1,800. $1,200 of that was cleaning the was it coil,
Yep.
cleaning the coils. And I talked to you, and you're like, "Man, you can do that. Look, I'll show you where the coils are."
Yeah.
And so that's going to take me probably a couple hours one Saturday.
Mhm.
So, why, in addition to what we just talked about with your advice on my fence and the air conditioner, why does somebody need a general contractor?
Man, that's I could answer that question in about a million different ways.
Yeah, you got some nightmare stories, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. First and foremost, I mean, anytime I show up and it's a first introduction kind of situation, I'm up against 1 to possibly 20 terrible experiences with contractors or handymen or anyone that is charging for a service or a trade to work on their house. So for
So a lot of
me,
what you do is fixing what somebody messed up.
yeah, yeah, it's building a relationship and establishing trust.
Mm,
And yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what has gotten us to the place we're at. Without marketing, without advertising, I don't pay for relationships. I build them. That is part of my construction. And the reason I do that is because when a homeowner calls me and says, "Hey, we had an HVAC guy come out and take a look at this," they're calling someone who's a trustworthy and like kind of a friendship situation where I can say, hey, let me just give you my advice because this is what I do every day all day. So building a relationship and having a contractor for things in your home that you really shouldn't do yourself. If you want to replace your front door and it needs to be a hurricane door, you want to call someone that's done it before. If you want to remodel your bathroom, your kitchen, you want to call someone that knows what they're doing, how to handle permitting, how to handle different building codes as they're always changing. And then through those processes, you build a relationship with someone that you can make a phone call like you did to me, or have a conversation about the HVAC, where it's like, hey, just give me a little advice, give me some tips.
mm,
And the goal, I think, that some contractors might lose sight of is, to take care of those relationships and nurture those. Because when you're at a level that you're so big that, someone calls in and they're just talking to this department or that department, or they meet the sales team and they're just, that guy only sells, this guy only designs, this guy
mm.
is only your drywall guy. You kind of lose some of the relationship, that I think is really important with a general contractor because in Florida and like California, I mean, our level of education on Florida building, on building codes, on how to do things right is massive, and it's a huge oversight, for people to think that, oh, I'm just going to hire a handyman because he's cheaper. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you hire someone to do something cheaper, typically you're picking two of three things: good, fast, or cheap. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to sacrifice one. And the pool of contractors out there vary. So in general, I think the importance of working with the contractor is first based on finding a contractor that you trust, that is going to meet your needs and not just try to sell you on everything that they can make a profit on. um, and that's a little tough sometimes, because for me, as we're growing and getting bigger, some of the smaller jobs, it's a little harder to be as efficient with compared to when we were a 2-3 man shop. But I still do prioritize those, and a lot of them are from previous relationships with people. They called the contractor, they built a relationship that had a quality job done. And so then that easy phone call to make about an HVAC question, things like that, that comes to me.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a an advocate position for your home. And yeah, I care about that. It matters. So
When somebody hires you, they don't just hire you, but they hire your network. Your social capital
hmm
becomes theirs, and so they get a network of people and knowledge to pull from.
hmm
So
it's my responsibility to keep the reputation of a contractor at a higher standard than, unfortunately, what a lot of people's past experiences with contractors have been. So
yeah,
it's cool. I like that part. That's what drives a lot of my motivation to do better than the last guy, or the next guy.
speaking of the last guy, tell me a nightmare story that you want to avoid with a bad contractor or subcontractor, somebody who just goes, all right, I'm going to slide in and I can
Yeah.
fix your kitchen for you.
I mean, just popping right off the top of my head, I have numerous that are like this, but one specifically was a permit that was opened in 22, and it was a carport conversion. They were just adding kind of a living room, dining room area, and he took the second draw, I think, and disappeared. Uh,
Jeez.
and this was a woman who was managing the project from somewhere else a couple hours away in Florida, and it was her mom's house. Her mom was elderly, and so the guy came in, did some demo, got some rough framing done, and took the second draw, which was around, I think, 25 or 30 grand, and just split.
So she paid the first amount, a deposit or something,
Yep.
got him there doing the demo.
hmm
and then she paid him for the, was it the second half of the work?
Yeah, I think it
So
was
he got
second
all
half.
of it.
Yeah, he left. I think there was about 10% left.
Ooh. Yeah,
Um,
you don't pay the piper till he plays you a tune.
Man, it was yeah, and I mean that's one of the things is I think probably half of the other contractors she talked to were like, I want nothing to do with this, you know. It's someone else's work they already started. I mean, I had to go
Uh-huh.
back and resubmit plans. I had to do a change of contractor, and you know, other people on the outside would, you know, shake their head and say, why would you do that? You know, there's no money in it, kind of thing. But at the same time, it's like to me that is like rebuilding that social capital that a contractor can provide, you know,
Yeah.
and be to someone else. And it was a pain in the butt job. You know, I mean, we had to
Mhm.
redo a lot of framing. We had to completely redesign the HVAC that was written incorrectly on the architectural drawings. I had to track down the architect that builder had used. So I mean, there was quite a bit that went into it that essentially wasn't in the estimate and wasn't planned. So if I did those all the time, I, you know, have a hard time keeping the lights on, but sometimes you just read you kind of read the room and you can tell, you know, that someone's desperate and someone's in a really hard spot.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, that was a tough spot. So, but they're good now. The house is on, the lights are on, the HVAC's running, we're good. That was, I mean, that was one of many. I have hours. We could do a segment,
I
yeah,
love
every
happy
day on that.
endings. Yeah. But I mean, it just goes to show it's like you hire Jim Bob and his cousin Earl
Yeah.
to come over and do something because you called them and they were a few $100s cheaper than someone else.
Hmm.
It's like people run into bad times and you come into a small company that's run out of someone's garage, a
Hmm.
couple guys living in their mom's basement, and life happens. Then suddenly it's just like, oh man, I got into a fender bender and I've got to shell out all this money.
Yeah.
And then girlfriends and wives and
Yep.
stuff have issues, and then life happens, and then they're like, yeah, I can't really come back and finish that job even though you paid me for it.
Yeah.
So you
And what are
get
we supposed
somebody.
to have?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then they split and it's like they don't really have an address for you to go to. So
Hmm.
yeah, you gotta avoid people do this to me all the time. I would give them a price for something, especially if they had wallpaper removal
Yeah.
involved. They're like, can you paint this? Just remove the wallpaper and I want this room painted.
Hmm.
And it's like, that's the room painted times six. I mean, wallpaper
Yeah.
removal is like six times the amount of work as, and they're like, yeah, but my cousin Earl said he'd do it for
Hmm.
$200. And I'm like, well, you need to hire your cousin Earl to come
Yeah.
screw this up. And then,
And they call me, and it's
yeah,
gonna be even more because I gotta fix his stuff. Yeah.
yeah, because there's no money in it at $200. That's where experience comes in. It's like, I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
You can't fool me there.
Hmm.
So I'm going to show you a product, and then I want you to tell me if you think it sucks or if it's something we're going to use to build with. This is a segment called Build or Bust.
Uh, Milwaukee M12 fuel ratchets.
And
Okay.
I'll put it on the screen so everybody's
Sure.
watching.
Yep. This is good. It's compact. Looks like a little mechanic friendly, but also with a lot of like the framing aspects. You're nailing and screwing you know, heavy anchors into like real tight little spots in between
Okay.
you know, studs that are close at the end of a door or end of a wall or anything like that.
Especially if you're a mechanic.
Right. So we got a powered ratcheting, compact right angled ratchet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy one.
Because my first thought
I'm
would
buying
be
this.
like, what the hell? Like, people can't go like this anymore. But then again, if you're in a
No.
tight space, like, you don't have the space to literally even do this.
Oh, I know, I
Yeah.
know. And some of the cheaper ones, I mean, you really got to get a good range to get that actual ratchet, and then you're
Right.
just like you're barely cranking it a centimeter at a time. I mean,
It's one of
this
those
I'm buying.
things. It's like, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the little batteries too, little Milwaukee M12s, those are awesome. Those little go-getter drills, things like that. 45 pounds of foot torque, 450 RPMs on a quarter-inch model, 70 foot-pounds, 400 RPM. Gee, we
Yeah.
got options. I like it. Yeah.
So is it a build or a bust?
This is a build.
All right, we're gonna build with it.
Yeah.
You
Oh
heard it.
man, you sold me. I appreciate this aspect of our conversation because I'm gonna buy this damn thing and I'm gonna use the hell out of it.
Right now, we get to the part of the episode. This is my favorite part, where we talk about Florida Man.
Okay.
Florida Man, the Dark Knight of Palm Bay, a Palm Bay resident. You ever been to Palm Bay, Chad?
Yeah, pass through. I wouldn't say I spent much time there.
So you're an expert on Palm Bay, and Palm Bay resident in full Batman pajamas thwarted a home invasion and apprehended the
Uh,
suspected burglar before police arrived. And I want to show you a photo of this. I'll put it on the screen.
That guy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is not just some guy with bat signal pajama pants.
Yeah.
This dude has full on head to toe Dark Knight pajamas, pajama onesie,
Yeah.
all black with a little yellow belt and a bat sign here.
Doing God's work, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody breaks in and he just jumped into action and stopped the robbery. So
Was he fully equipped? Like, I mean, ninja stars. I mean, guns. Or was this just brute
he
force?
had chapstick and probably floss
It's
nearby.
probably menthol chapstick. I mean, you can blind anybody with a good poke of menthol chapstick.
That's really all it is. And so thank God
Uh,
for people like Batman and Palm Bay
mm,
doing their thing. And that was without the signal too. So he didn't even need any of
mm.
that nonsense. He just sprang into action.
Wonder if he's hiring for a new Robin. I
That
need a
could
new night shift.
oh no, you got your plate pretty full right now.
Yeah. Oh, he's so happy.
That's who you want on your neighborhood
He's
watch.
dude, that's a good Samaritan right there. You know that every single kid who's under the age of maybe like 5 to 8 years old is like, I freaking told you, mom, like that, man. Oh
This is what
wow.
they dream of.
Dude.
This is what we trained for.
And you see the guy that he took out?
No, he's there too?
Bro.
Oh,
He's
he
never
looks like
living
a
that one down.
scumbag. Yeah.
He's never living that one down.
He's gonna have to hang himself in
Bruce
prison.
Wayne just you up,
Yeah.
bro. Oh my god. I'm gonna be that guy for Halloween.
How could he ever live with
I'm
himself?
gonna be
Which one,
that
the
guy for
bad guy
Halloween.
or
No,
Batman?
Florida man, you be the bad guy.
Oh, okay.
You
Yeah,
look Mexican.
I can fill that role pretty easily.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. Yeah, Florida man. All right, well, that was an uplifting Florida man story. I like that.
I like
You
the
know,
good
Florida
stuff.
man's usually like Jimmy Jack and his cousin Bubba
Eating someone's
robbing a
face on bath salts.
face eating.
Yeah,
That's in there. Uh, no, this guy, he's setting the bar. See what I mean?
that's
He's
the example that
rewriting.
I want my kids to have. My kids are two dogs, but still, if they can thwart burglaries
Oh,
in jammies, I mean,
yeah.
they're worth every bit of kibble.
I wonder who's next. Spider-Man, Superman,
This is gonna set
Captain
off a whole
America.
new string of
If this
thwarted
guy
robberies.
single-handedly brings back the image of Florida man, I mean, we're good.
Yeah,
We're
that's
good.
pretty much the only thing holding us back. It's this negativity surrounding
Yeah, that
Florida
housing
man.
flip, screw that. We got freaking Florida man heroes now.
That's what bothers me is just like, all the bad press Florida man gets. It's cherry picking. That's what we call it in the critical thinking community. It's
Yeah.
cherry picking the data. They're only looking for bad Florida man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no more.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know what else is going on?
Yeah.
Scientists captured first ever footage of a goblin shark in its natural habitat.
Off of what coast?
I think Papua New Guinea.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we got great whites showing up in the Gulf,
Isn't that
goblin
crazy?
sharks in Papua New Guinea.
Also,
What is
speaking
this
of
world
first,
coming to?
I know. I mean, so also first ever footage. They were suspected to be there. The first ever footage of a great white shark in the Mediterranean. Think of all the countries that surround
Oh,
that.
Jesus.
Pretty crazy. I'll put that up on the screen too.
Yeah.
But great white shark captured on video in the Mediterranean. So you could be hanging out in Sicily
That's
or
hell of
wherever.
water, man. That's
Yeah, isn't that
crazy,
crazy?
dude.
They're everywhere. They're freaking
Yeah.
everywhere. I'm not going to be swimming around in the ocean. I mean, I know you do.
Yeah. I mean, there's
You're like less afraid of that than me. I don't like to tread water in deep, dark
on this
areas.
side of the water, I'm less afraid, but I've been in the water and I've had 6, 8 foot sand sharks swimming at me, and I mean, I was terrified. I swam out of the water like a little girl. It was a disaster. So yeah, it's one thing to have confidence up here, but dude, yeah, I mean, you're in their world, and no thanks.
Something crazy. So the Navy, I don't know, the Army has field manuals. So we had the Army field manual for stuff, but the Navy had some kind of manual, and originally there was a section on what to do if you came across the shark or if a shark came across you,
Hmm.
and they had said to just thrash like crazy to scare it away, right? To
Oh,
just
good.
go nuts, and
Like a wounded seal.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so that as it turns out this is the exact opposite of what you want to do because this
Yeah.
attracts sharks
Mm.
who think that you're a wounded seal.
Those manuals were handed out to select people. There was only a small
There
group
was,
that got those. They're like, all right, little Timmy, here you go. Yeah.
yeah, I've had enough of your terrible hash browns in the morning.
That's the last fingernail I find in my mashed potatoes, you son of a gun.
Well, all right. I want to thank everybody for watching this week's episode of Copley General Contracting.
Dun dun dun.
Ba, ba.
Yeah, from the ground up in the St. Pete sun, building dreams that last with Copley General Contracting. Strong foundations laid, a trusted friend you've made. Your vision comes alive, Copley General Contracting. Yeah, Copley General Contracting.